Well, besides the last couple of minutes there, it was a pretty commanding win for the Celtics. I don't think Miami had momentum pretty much at all. The Celtics won each quarter besides the fourth, and even then that was really like the last few minutes there. So pretty good win. And I don't feel as bad as I thought I might have felt after this game. So what happened? Well, I think the obvious things are, number one, the Celtics found a way to slow down Dragic. He was a minus 29 tonight. Missed a lot of shots, and wasn't able to really get into the Celtics defense like that, except for there was like one play pretty early on where it was a Dragic Bam pick and roll, and then it seemed like it didn't really happen after that, and we'll get into that. And the second one is the Celtics figured out the zone. And I do want to start with the zone stuff first, because the Celtics have done a pretty good job of scoring on Miami man-to-man in this series, right? As we remember, they had leads in the first two games. It's not like Miami was killing them out there. So to talk about the zone, I mean, a lot of it was the aggressiveness off the catch, right? Just going off the dribble. Jalen, I think, was the biggest example of this, where there was one play in particular. I don't remember. Well, there were two. One was the cut play where they had Marcus start at the elbow off the ball. He came back out. That motion freaked out Miami's defense a little bit, and then Jalen off of that cut to the rim. And then there was another one where it was a switch up top. I think Marcus ran the screen, and then they threw it over to Jalen in the elbow, and then Jalen just went immediately off the dribble, and I think that led to a Grant Williams open three in the corner. And it was just a lot of faster decision-making as opposed to just dribbling it around being like, what do we do now? You know, there was one time when Jalen was sitting in front of the basket, so Bam had to stay with him. And then Marcus threw a pass to Grant Williams, and then Grant had that layup over Bam. One time it was Tice on an offensive rebound because the offensive glass is vulnerable against a zone. And there were some other plays that I don't remember off the top of my head, but just in general, it was a lot more of either a cut or it was quickly attacking or whatever, you know, doing a better job in the zone. We give credit to Gordon Hayward. I mean, he didn't shoot too much, but his assists were really good. He had 4 of those. He had 5 boards. His defense was pretty all right. And just that extra threat for the Celtics was huge. And, I mean, the lineup that they went to that really, really killed Miami was the Tatum, Jalen, Hayward, Smart, and Kemba. And that led to those 3 straight possessions where the Celtics committed a turnover or forced a turnover, and they got an easy basket on the other end. Or maybe it was 2 turnovers and 1 miss. I don't remember, but it was like 3 fast break finishes for the Celtics, and their aggressiveness with those lineups was really, really good, and they got into the passing lanes, and they just kind of made everything tougher for Miami. Something as simple as just bringing the ball up court was a little tougher in this game, and that, to me, applies to all the lineups the Celtics used, not just when they went small there. Whether it was Grant Williams at center or when they went to the other one. Jalen was on Bam a bit. And, I mean, Bam's numbers were good, but besides Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero bailing Miami out at times, their offense was really not good tonight. And I think you look at 2 things. One, you look at Dragic. You know, the Celtics put Marcus Smart on him. I think that right there definitely made a difference. Also, some switching, I think, helped as well. And that just might be the way to go moving forward. I mean, Daniel Tyson, this one, played 24 minutes. Hayward played 31. Grant played 9. Just a little bit more minutes of being small, and I think that did bother what Miami was doing, and especially in the first half. I mean, Miami's offense was straight up bad in the first half, and the only reason it wasn't a blowout at that point, it was like a 12-point game at halftime, was because Hero was just making tough shots. I think he had 18 in the first half, and besides that, the Celtics just kind of locked him up, and we'll have to see. I mean, could Miami go to the pick and roll more often with Dragic and Bam? Yeah, maybe. I think the Celtics are, you know, Marcus Smart's probably going to be on Dragic a lot more moving forward. We'll get to Jimmy in a second, but, you know, Smart's going to be on Dragic, and that's going to make it a little tougher for that initial screen, but it just might be the way to go. That, and also having Dragic start sooner, you know, like right after he crosses half court, as opposed to like we bring the ball up floor and we kind of wait a little bit and then we run the screen, you know. Just kind of force the Celtics to have to wake up defensively a little faster. But now we get to Jimmy. So Jimmy on the game, 17 points, 8 boards, 3 assists. He was kind of just out there. And this is something that happens with Jimmy sometimes in this team. It's like with Spoelstra and Jimmy's mentality as a player, it's like they're so into the idea of everybody's moving the ball and off-ball action, and all that's nice, but it's also led to tonight Jimmy shot 13 times, and he also had 6 free throw attempts, and in the last game he shot 11 times. So sometimes you're just going to need Jimmy to do a little bit more, whether it's an ISO, whether it's a post-up, whether it is a screen, and just force the Celtics to defend off of that. I mean, they are rolling with this Jalen on Bam thing, which I think is giving them some freedom to switch a few more things, even if Bam is scoring. So maybe that means Jalen would be on Jimmy now. And I mean, Tatum has been on Jimmy to start out possessions a good amount of the time. So now it's Tatum on Brown, or Bam, I should say, which, you know, if you're the Celtics, I guess you're going to be okay with that. Could Miami try to force Tice to just play on the perimeter a little bit more? I think so. I think the Celtics have done a good job of finding ways to not have Tice involved in that stuff as much, besides just not playing him as many minutes, of course. One thing to mention is Marcus Smart with 20 points while also not making a three-pointer. He's just kind of finding ways to score. I mean, that last foul he had where he attacked with like 45 seconds left was a little terrifying, but he got bailed out with a foul. But I don't know. I don't know what to make of Marcus Smart, the offensive threat, besides just acknowledging it. It's a weird thing because, you know, if Hayward's going to be back, which obviously he is, and you got to care about him, but then Marcus Smart is also going to be this dude who's sometimes going to make threes, sometimes going to go off the dribble and, you know, get fouled or whatever, then it does get tough to defend the Celtics at that point. And the thing with Marcus Smart is, like, especially with Hayward there, you're always going to pick Marcus as the guy to dare to beat you. But it's also as if, at this point, between Marcus's shooting, which granted it's still streaky, but between the improvement he's made there, on top of the improvements he's made as a passer and going off the dribble and stuff, you still kind of have to defend him. You know, like, you can't just ignore him out there. And it does make the Celtics offense a little tougher to deal with. I think looking at Miami and things they can do moving forward, besides get Jimmy and Dragic a couple more simple plays and just get Jimmy more involved in general, I think probably don't play Kendrick Nunn anymore. That foul on Tatum, that was really bad. But also, if the Celtics are going to put Smart on Dragic more and switch a little bit more, you might just have to ride out with the Bam handoff play stuff. I mean, we saw late that Bam faked a handoff pass and then he just dribbled it right inside for an easy 2. So that could be one thing you can do to force the Celtics to just have to ask themselves some questions. You know, what do we do on this possession? Are we going to fight around the handoff play? Or are we going to switch it or what it may be? You know, just a little extra nuance as opposed to a Dragic Bam pick and roll. One thing Miami brought out, and I don't know if they've brought it out as much in this series, they went with some Bam and Olynyk minutes together. I don't really know if that was a good move because you put Tyson Olynyk, and I think he can do an okay job of sticking with Olynyk. But even then, you know, Kelly, I think he had some open threes in this one, so we'll see with that one. That could be a little extra nugget that Spoelstra goes to moving forward. But yeah, man, they got to get the half-court offense going a little bit more, get a little more pop going to the basket after this one. See if you can get Dragic off of Marcus, get Jimmy going a little bit more. Again, you know, outside of Miami's run late, which did get pretty close for comfort there, they didn't play well. The Celtics were the better team for 95% of this game, pretty much. So we'll see what Miami does for Game 4. Game 4 becomes an extremely important game for obvious reasons. Either 3-1 or then it becomes a 3-game series and all that stuff. So, yeah. Do I have any takes on Tatum? I haven't even mentioned Tatum at all. No, he was good. You know, he was good. His efficiency was good. The assists were great. It is something to make note of, you know. Miami's playing a zone defense. They didn't do it as much in this game, but you look at it, Tatum 8 assists, Smart 6, Brown 5, Hayward 4. I mean, hell, Wanamaker had 2 in 9 minutes. Like, yeah, it's a recipe. Move the ball. As for Kemba, yeah, Kemba was good too. 21, made some Kemba shots, you know. Sometimes it's going to be a contested shot, a 3 with a guy on me. Kemba had that huge one in the corner, which I think got it back to 12 when Miami was getting going late. And, you know, sometimes Kemba's just going to have to do that, and that's what you gave him the money for. So, yep, that's all I got. Miami, got to get a little bit more punch on the offense. Get Jimmy going a little bit more. Bam, handoff plays. We'll see what happens game 4.